Morning, everybody. Got some big, beautiful, fluffy snow today. I don't know if you can see it. It's beautiful, fluffy snow. It's, of course, as soon as I grabbed the camera, it thinned out a bit. But it's sort of turned underground whitish a little bit, slowly. Anyway, I've got to feed the animals, and Melanie usually does the morning care. And either Chris and I, or Chris or I, depending on who's here, does the afternoon care. But Melanie is down and out today. Not really sure what's going on, but she's down and out today. So I'm going to take care of the animals now. And part of the reason I don't show you around with the morning animal care is because I'm inside working on the videos and the article for your entertainment. But today I have to do it all. And I'll take you around as well as I can, one-handed with the camera. So forgive me if I'm shaky or jerky holding the camera as I go. Maybe you can see the snow in the backdrop of the trees better? I don't know, does it show up? You can see it. It's really beautiful. It's peaceful. So peaceful. Except for the goats crying for their morning hay. It's not very peaceful sounding. You want your food? Yeah, you want your morning hay? Now, girls? Huh? Happy looking. Alright, let me try to take care of the animals. I'll show you what we got here. It looks junky here, and I don't know how to make it look nicer, because this is our wood processing corner, and it's all firewood. And I guess firewood is not going to look neat. This is where Chris sets up his table saw. And the wheelbarrow, he hauls it in, and it's just not pretty. I don't know. I don't like how it looks here, and I am embarrassed of it, but I just don't know how to make it look better, because it's the wood processing corner. Now, this month, we went and bought, instead of driving back and forth as much as we have been, YouTube has cut our income even further, so much now that we won't make the land payment next month. So I am looking into other jobs. I'm going to try my hardest to put out a daily video, working on the land full-time, working on YouTube full-time, and somehow work another job. So I'm going to see what I can swing here. But anyway, my income next month is not going to make the land payment, and let alone anything else. But what we did to save costs, we were driving to town once, 2 times, sometimes 3 times a week. When we'd run out of something, we'd go get it. So we'd run out of chicken food, we'd go chicken food. We'd run out of goat food, we'd go get goat food. Run out of cat food, go get cat food. This month I bought the entire month's supply of food at one time. And what I've done is I've taken the barrels and I've poured out 2 50-pound bags of feed into one container. Before, what I would do is take the feed bag and pop it in here, and rip the top open, and we'd scoop out of the feed bag. But it was an inefficient use of the container. Only problem is the handles on these are not waterproof, okay? And that's why I kept the feed in the bags, because the bag offered some water resistance and helped. But we're going to have to figure out a way. The tarp is not waterproof either, so I may have to build a shelter. But I went and got our monthly supply of chicken feed. So both these containers are full of chicken feed now. And the goats are eating their hay, which I have here in a storage tent. The hay for the goats is in a storage tent. So anyway, tripping on the snow. It's frozen. The birds are anxious and ready for their food. Melanie gives them, she takes the lid of the container and gives them 4 cups and spreads it out. So I'm going to run back and forth and give them 4 scoops. Alright, there's the hay, there's a place where we put the hay, and then the goats just pop their heads through and eat as they want. They still have hay, so I don't know why they're calling. I think they miss Chris or Melanie. Hey, don't eat my pants! Anyway, no! Alright, I gotta go. Now that's what I'm talking about. That is beautiful. Oh, it went down my neck. Wow, look at that. Wow. Somebody commented negatively how I greet everything like a child experiencing something new every day. Well, that's me. This is beautiful. I just gotta keep it from going down my neck. Look at that. That, oh, means I better move my car. Hi guys, I've got the battery connected here. I'm going to connect the leads into here so I can read it down on the meter and see what I have. It's showing 0.398, 0.4 volts. That's odd. Wait, now it's really going up and down. That's odd. I'm going to shut off the Bedini motor. I've never had a battery react that terribly to being charged for 24 hours on the Bedini. But I've got to plug in my battery pack that I've been using regularly and charge it back up. Hopefully it'll charge up faster. It's down, well, it's back up 12 something. I'll measure that later. That meter is not precise, not in the faintest. So this battery we're going to let rest today, this little guy that I'm trying to restore as an experiment. Yeah, something's wrong. My meter is being weird on me. Now it's reading millivolts. I'll have to check that with two hands later, and I'll write it down, and we'll log it in the article that I'm writing about the restoration of this little battery. Right now I'm going to put the bigger battery in and get it running. But this little guy here is coming off and going off to the side to rest. Well, that's odd. I had used this to run the pulse motor the other day, which you saw on video. I think by the time I get this done, I think I had that on video. I took it off at 12.3 volts and now it's at 12.56 volts, and I don't know, after resting it was 12.3 and it's going up. So I know lead acid batteries can recover some of their charge within the first minutes to an hour after shutting down, but the next day, that's weird. Anyway, it's at 12.56. I've got it on the Bedini motor, and I'm going to let it charge back up to around 13, 14 volts, and then we'll take it back in and run it on the pulse motor and drain it some more. And we'll see how much usable energy we can get out of this battery. Well guys, I did the last video. I fed the chickens as I was showing you. I showed you the sky. I went to the greenhouse and swapped out a battery on the Bedini motor, and this is what we've got. It's not going to be any solar power today. So that is one bad thing about being off the grid with solar power. Snow equals no power. And no, this is not Troy whining and complaining. This is Troy telling you the conditions. Because if I don't tell you the conditions and report to you how things are, you have no idea. So I am actually quite cheerful today, just so you know, because I know somebody's going to say something. Hi guys, it's time to get some power in the tiny house on wheels. I have this 12 volt cigarette lighter outlet, which I'm going to put up in the corner where the motor is. I have drilled a hole in the ceiling, and I've got to redo my indirect lighting. It's really coming undone up here in a bad way, and redo my wiring. I've run a wire down, and I'm going to put a cigarette lighter plug here. I'm going to put it about here, I guess. I'll have to see what the height. I'd like it up here where across from where the other one is, but I've got my wires here and they only reach a certain distance. Yeah, I might have to run it lower here for this case. Anyway, I'm going to have a cigarette lighter socket down here for power to run the motor and charging, and then upstairs I'm going to have a fuse box connected, and I'm going to have distribution from there, and also eventually or finally have power inside my tiny house office. Finally. I haven't had 12 volt power up there yet to this date, so I'm going to start running that today. It's snowing out pretty heavily, and Chris fired up his generator for us because we have no power in the tiny house on wheels, and I'm going to be using a soldering iron and other things today, so I definitely need the power. And the solar panels are completely covered in white. We're going to get up to 3 inches, and it looks like we could certainly get that or more. So, it's inside the tiny house work today. Okay, I've got a cigarette lighter socket plugged in. Everything is soldered. Oops, stay away from the motor. Magnets. Everything is soldered. I've got the machine running on the power. I still have to nail that into the corner. Goes up through the ceiling. I still got to fix the lighting. I've also disconnected that upstairs, and I'm going to run it through the fuse blocks that I have up there now. Redo the wiring properly. Run that down here to a switch so Melanie can reach it as well. I'll take you upstairs and show you what I did up there so far. I've got a fuse block up here in the tiny house loft office. And I've got, sorry, there's a mass of wires. Oh, you don't see it anyway. There's my wires to my USB thing I thought you saw in the way. So I've got the wires running down and then go into here, and I have soldered the connections and taped them off. So these are very good. This is the massive wires that goes downstairs, the white and the green, and they're just laying there for now. Disconnected, so we have no overhead indirect lighting in the living room for now. That is going to be redone and routed up to here to the fuse block for safety. And then I'm going to redo the switch and put it in a proper switch box and dress it up nicely. Finally! So, it's a day like this that I require to be getting going on the wiring inside the tiny house on wheels. Indoor work today, got 1.5 to 2 inches so far. I'm gonna get between 2 and 4. So, and it just started 2 hours ago. So, perfect day for working inside the tiny house on wheels. Well guys, it's really coming down. There's the tubing I pulled out this morning. Everything is white and getting covered thickly with snow. Hey guys, still snowing steady and heavy, and we've got 3 inches of snow on the ground already. Really coming down. I've been out shoveling a lot on and off, so you know what I've been doing with my time. In between working in the house and on computer and on the motor generator device and on shoveling and on electrical wiring in the tiny house on wheels. That's what's going to be pretty much the day. Round and round and round.